What's up, guys? This is Carter with Coin Mastery TV. Go to coinmastery.com or coinmastery.com/YouTube and make sure you sign up. We're getting daily updates on the cryptocurrency market. We're doing picks, we're doing predictions, we're talking about Bitcoin Cash. Today, we're going to talk about a few things, specifically Bitcoin Cash going way down and specifically why it happened and how you can kind of predict when it's going to happen. We're going to talk about Antshares, we're going to talk about OMG and how they're getting this crazy volume. And then we're going to talk about a few other random things. I'm going to show you or talk about a few coins that I'm bullish on, one of which I think I'm going to buy a bunch of today. All right, so welcome. Thank you all for subscribing and thank you all for writing in. If for any reason you ever want to get in touch, make sure you leave a comment on YouTube, hit us up on Facebook, respond to the emails, whatever. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Let's jump in, shall we? Crypto Watch. As usual, man, Bitcoin had a heck of a day. I mean, it went up, I think, almost 100 points in the last 24 hours or so. So we are on a very, very good projection. There is really no other reason other than Bitcoin Cash just completely bombed out. And so the amount of Bitcoin that came back into the market is very high. So, right, everybody who had Bitcoin, or I shouldn't say, most people who had Bitcoin got their Bitcoin Cash. And then yesterday is when they finally actually could put it on a marketplace like Bittrex or Poloniex or whatever. Or I should say Bitfinex, not Poloniex. And through that, you started to see more volume coming into the market. Now, that's not the only reason, but that dropped the price of Bitcoin Cash, which moved up the price of Bitcoin. So you're watching BTC going up. That's really why. It's just, it was kind of a reaction to Bitcoin Cash going down. Now, if you didn't see, Coinbase, I should probably pull this up. Let me see, Coinbase blog. Coinbase decided originally, Coinbase was like, oh, hey, look, we're not going to deal we're not going to give people their Bitcoin Cash because it's complicated. And really, I think the big reason, which I actually agree with, if Coinbase puts Bitcoin Cash or made Bitcoin Cash a viable currency or thing on their platform, the price would be astronomical. They have millions of people, millions of members that have bought products through them. So if Coinbase touches or mentions a token or a coin going on their platform, it's going to go bananas because so many people will buy it. So I think that was one of the biggest reasons why, even though they were talking about how it's like, oh, we're not sure about the tech and blah, blah, blah. I think the big reason was because they knew that the marketplace would just go haywire if they tried to do it. However, there's so much backlash from people like yourself and myself and anybody who's ever used Coinbase at some point or another. They were threatening things like class action lawsuits, and it was getting pretty hairy. And so Coinbase came out and said that they actually are going to allow people to get the credit. They're not going to allow you to trade it, but they're not going to give it to people until like January of 2018. It's like, man, these guys can't get out of their own way, right? And I empathize in the sense that I live in San Francisco. I know people that are very, very close to the people at Coinbase, and I know a lot of this type of kind of visionary investor types who think that they're smarter than like they kind of have the Steve Jobs thing, like, oh, well, people don't even know what they don't want. Like we're like, let us decide. And I'm like, man, in Bitcoin or in crypto, you just got to give people what they want. If you try to tell people that you know more than they do, and you try to fight that kind of primal behavior of greed or whatever you want to call it, like, that's just not going to work out for them. So I guess the good news for anybody who had their Bitcoin on Coinbase on August 1st, you will get your Bitcoin Cash. The bad news is it's not going to be for a while. So I'm still investigating how you can redeem that cash somewhere else. I haven't seen any services come up. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of scams, so please be warned. But that was kind of, I saw this and I was like, Coinbase, come on, you guys. Meanwhile, they're super bullish on their app called Toshi, which you can actually go into the App Store and download. I've downloaded it. It's kind of like WeChat, and they're trying to make an interesting marketplace, which, I get it, right? Like that's their big play, is that they're betting big on Ethereum. They're betting big on individual use cases of crypto, specifically of Ethereum. Let me pull up District0x. So if you guys are interested, go to District0x.io. And these guys, they had an ICO, or I should say, like not an ICO, like a pre-contribution phase or whatever. And now they're going to be listed on Bittrex. They actually listed them yesterday, and then they took them off really quickly because they realized they had messed something up. This is an interesting token. Some people are asking about ICOs and things like that. I would keep my eye on District0x because this is the first time that you really start to see a concerted effort to make, like, facilitating lots of use cases. And that's all fine and good. Like, we've already seen some of this happen. But what really is interesting to me is that the people who are trying to make this happen are obviously Coinbase. Like, really wants this exact idea in this business model. This is what Coinbase wants to happen. So, right, when you think about that, Coinbase is trying to raise $1 billion right now in Silicon Valley. They probably will, or at least get a $1 billion valuation. They're going to raise all this money. They are clearly the leader in the crypto, like, quote unquote, banking world, or whatever you want to call it. That's who people go through to get into crypto. And this is exactly what they want to happen. So I'm a big believer in, like I wrote in, I think, the second email when you sign up for Coin Mastery, if you, like, seeing what tokens and what coins get listed on big exchanges is a really great way to have immediate arbitrage. And I think that Coinbase is sitting in a room. They're looking at this. I mean, they know these guys. They're like good buddies with all these people. And they're sitting there and they're like, this is exactly the kind of stuff that we are banking our entire company on. To me, that seems like a pretty obvious reason to list it on a guaranteed way to, like, 5x the market cap of any coin, right? So I don't know if I can't tell you for sure, but things like District0x are really interesting. And then if you want to check out the major platform, you can go to 0xproject.com. 0x is more of like the platform, right? It's more of like the new Ethereum for all these things. It's much more about, like, creating de facto exchanges. It gets really, like, meta and heady. So you can go check it out. I'll probably be up. I don't know if I'm going to go on the ICO, but I'm going to keep my eye on 0x. I think that this is really interesting. And honestly, the tech is cool. Everything about the project, the team is awesome, blah, blah, blah. The only thing I care about, or I should say, the thing that gets me interested is the fact that this is the exact kind of stuff that Coinbase wants to happen. And these guys are all buddies in San Francisco. So can I predict that this is going to work? I couldn't tell you. But I will tell you that District0x, the ticker is DNT, which will be on Bittrex maybe today. They put it on yesterday. It didn't stay up. Go check this out. I don't know. Like anything, when it hits the exchanges, it usually drops. So, wait a few days. Make sure it goes down a bunch. But, I mean, seems to me like that could work out. All right, so anyway, I don't want to get off into a tangent, but I thought that was really interesting. Something that might be helpful for you guys. Look at this. It's already up to 2870 in the last 5 minutes. Litecoin's also seeing some legs. Bitcoin's really just stealing the show. This is not new. I feel like this whole week has kind of been like this. And then on the flip side, let's look at Bitcoin Cash. Yep, that just dropped. So when you scroll over, it's 255. You can always go down to the bottom here, and it shows you 253 is the kind of US pegged price. I mean, it's just such a joke. And so here's something that I'm keeping an eye on. I don't know if it'll let me do this when I'm logged out, but if you click on the Bitcoin Cash in Bittrex, man, look at that. That is just a big old drop off. If you look at the in here, yeah. So when you're logged in, there will be a tab right here that says wallet, right? And the same thing is true when you're logged in. There'll be like a wallets thing. And if you click on the wallet where you get your address in Bittrex, it'll tell you when the last block was mined, or last block was updated, I should say. Now, if you don't know anything about mining, if you don't, that's okay. Don't worry about that. All it means is that the blocks kind of hold all the confirmations that are required to be able to buy and sell things on a blockchain, right? So without the block, confirmations can't happen. Without confirmations, you can't buy anything. That's kind of what blockchain is built on. When you go in Bitcoin Cash, the time between block confirmations is massive. It's like a couple hours right now, and that may change. It may not. Who knows? But every time a block gets updated, which let's say it's every 4 hours, that means all these confirmations will go through, and that means all this Bitcoin Cash will be finally deposited into Bittrex. So let's say you have 10 Bitcoin cash coins on your computer from whatever, and you send them to Bittrex. Bittrex is going to say, great, we received them. Now we just need to wait for confirmations from the blockchain so we can confirm that all these transactions have been recorded on the blockchain. Right? It takes a couple hours, but once those confirmations are in, then the money is deposited for trading on Bittrex. Right? So when you watch that block get updated and you see it say, okay, it was finally updated, you now know that all of this money just got dumped into Bittrex. And you can kind of see what happens. I haven't done an exact matchup, but right here, like this 30-minute window, you wait a couple hours, and then this 30-minute window, and then you wait a couple hours, and you see there's just like these big sell drops, which is very highly correlated to the blocks resolving themselves. And so if you get more people mining it, which we may see in the future, this may work itself out. But for now, you can kind of see when the big drops are going to be coming, which is just kind of funny. In terms of Bitcoin Cash, if you have it, I mean, I'm not selling mine for a while. I'm just going to hold on to it because I think that, yeah, it's going down the tubes pretty hard right now. But you just can't discredit the guys like Roger Ver. If you don't know, you can go check these guys out, or Jihan, or like all the big proponents of Bitcoin Cash. Do not underestimate how much money they have and how powerful they can be if they want this to work. So I think I would wait. If you have it, just hold it. Don't worry about it. Don't sweat that you could have sold it at 1,000 or whatever. Don't worry about it. But I think when it gets to about 0.05, I mean, I've said this a few times, I think you'll start to see it level off. If you want to roll the dice on this, if you believe in it, many people do. And if the mining starts to pick up, if something starts to shift, which it very well may, 0.05 I think is going to be an interesting kind of price floor and buy-in area. But in the meantime, this is just like, classic, just whatever. And through that, it's driving up the price of Bitcoin. All right, so that's kind of the story on Bitcoin Cash. Keep an eye on it. When it gets to 0.05, not only watch the price, watch the sell volume. Watch the volume in general, right? Because right now it's at 181,000 or 18,000 Bitcoin a day are going through Bitcoin Cash. If that significantly drops, you're going to see dramatically different behavior, which it probably will. If it doesn't drop, then it may very well start getting bought up again because people are going to stop having Bitcoin Cash to sell, at least until January when all that Coinbase money comes in. Now, the other two kind of show stoppers in the last 24 hours have been Antshares and OMG. And not necessarily because of the price, which has been awesome. It's been this volume, right? Like Antshares is pulling in almost 11,000 Bitcoin on their volume. OMG is a little over 6,000 24-hour Bitcoin volume. And I hope some of you guys bought OMG. I saw in the YouTube comments a couple of people bought it after yesterday's video, and they just made 35%. So congratulations to you. I actually sold about half of my OMG around 72. I bought it at 41 because I'm really trying to get into the habit of, taking profits when I can. I have plenty of coins for the long-term stuff, so I'm just getting in the habit, even if I think it's a good one, getting in the habit of taking profits when I can. So I do still have some, but not as much as I could have. But that's the game I'm trying to play now. I'm trying to get into that trading mentality so that I can make money on the volatility. Same with Antshares. I think I bought it at like 25 or 26. I think I sold it at 30. Or no, I've got a sell order for 39, which may have done that. Yeah, I think it might have hit in the 24 hours. For all I know, this could go up to like 60, right? There's a lot of volume behind Antshares. The reason why for both of these is because Antshares in particular, on August 8th, is releasing their whole new, it's getting rebranded. It's called Neo. And it's going to be kind of like getting this whole new look, this kind of matrixy look. And there's a lot of rumors and talk that they might be working with the Chinese government, which is interesting. They tweeted about it and they deleted the tweet. So like, what's really going on? So I think Antshares is getting a lot of volume because I think China, and realize, I think it's like 15 to 20% of Bitcoin has been mined and or purchased by people in China. Like that's crazy, right? So Antshares may end up becoming the Chinese currency of choice. I don't think it's going to eclipse Bitcoin anytime soon, if ever. But that's why it's getting so much volume, is because Antshares is having this resurgence of branding. I think a lot of people in China are taking their Bitcoin Cash and turning it into Antshares. OMG is also getting a lot of talk in like Thailand, in Japan, in China, all over Asia, but it's trying to become more of a like transactional, use it to go. It's like Apple Pay in stores, right? And so OMG is getting a lot of press about that. It's obviously got an amazing team. It's got Vitalik is all over. He's got a sticker on his laptop. But they're just getting a lot of press. And I think this volume is honestly because people are, one, they're glad that the whole fork is over so that there's all this new fresh money coming in. That's why the market cap is going up so much. And two, all the Bitcoin Cash is flowing in. That's why we're seeing volume just increasing kind of across the whole thing. Now, that really gets us into the final piece, which is talking about individual coins, what to look for, what's interesting. One person asked about NXT. You guys may have been watching NXT recently. Go check out this blog post. This is this can describe it much better than I can. Go to steemit.com/@cryptomaster007. And then you can go read it. He wrote a 2-part series on this. Really, really well written, and it's really good. What I can tell you in a nutshell, let me go back here. Oops, that didn't help. Is that, go here. So like you scroll out, like NXT obviously just crushed it. The way this works is that it's kind of like how an ICO needs Ethereum to run? Well, this is kind of saying like NXT needs Ardor to run, and then they got airdropped all this other stuff called, I think it's called Ignis or something. So there's like 3 currencies that are all kind of like feeding itself, which is causing a lot of this hyper growth. So, long story short, I'm not going to buy any NXT because I don't like it when you're kind of fueling gas. You're taking from one fire and putting it into another to make it look bigger than it is. But that is the story. Definitely go read this article, app CryptoMaster007 on Steemit. Really great job. This guy crushed it. So you should go check that out if you're interested in NXT. Okay, the other big thing is we've talked about volume a lot. Yesterday I talked about how you're watching sell volume is the best time to buy. Overall, the volume is really going up. I'm taking a look at what is having the biggest increases in volume, like what's moving up, what has not been on page 1 that is now on page 1, And like, how does that really kind of, like, what about it is interesting? And the one that really stuck out is Elastic XEL, right? Now, Elastic, it's had a heck of a run. You guys may have seen this. I mean, they did like 40% days, many, many days. It's relatively new to Bittrex. But Elastic, if you don't know, it's kind of like a decentralized supercomputer. So this has just been getting a lot of press. Before it was doing 522 Bitcoin a day, the volume wasn't even close to this. I mean, I remember looking at this the other day and it was like page 3 with like 60 Bitcoin a day. So something has changed in the overall marketplace that everything has increased volume, but Elastic has disproportionately gone up. That being said, I am not going to buy Elastic, even though I think it is a very, very good buy. If you do want to buy it, I think it's good. What I'm watching is Golem. Now, you may know I've bought Golem. I bought it right around 10,000. It went up to like 12, came back to like 8,000. Now it's back at 10. So Golem is the same idea as Elastic. It's a supercomputer. It's just built differently. It's got a little bit more money behind it. They had a huge ICO, blah, blah, blah. But I like Golem because it's more established. It's got a little bit more track record, and it's starting to show the same sort of volume increase that Elastic did. It just hasn't had that big, huge spike yet. I say this because I've heard on multiple occasions that Coinbase is interested in Golem. Listen, I have no idea if that's true or not. This is all complete rumors. Like, you can go on Steemit or Reddit or whatever, and you can see the conspiracy theories. I've heard this from people that are actually, I trust a lot. And I also just think Golem is a very solid program. So the supercomputer, decentralized supercomputer, proved that it had a lot of legs from Elastic, and Golem hasn't seen it yet. So I think I'm going to put a little bit more money into Golem. I've already, I don't know, maybe like 5 or 6 Bitcoin worth. Maybe I'll get some more, a sizable amount of money that I'm going to try. I'm going to probably buy it right around 10, 40. Could end up eating my words on this, but my goal is to do a 20% rip, get it up to like, 12.5, peace out, and leave a little left over. But I think that the volume on this could get up to the 700s, and what I like about it is that it's holding its price even while this thing is smoking, right? Even while the Bitcoin price is crushing it, its relative price to Bitcoin is holding its own, which means that it's holding its value really well. So I'm going to try that. The other one I mentioned yesterday, I believe, is ARK. I bought into ARK pretty big, but I bought in at like 24. So I went down to 15. I was like, oh man, I'm an idiot. What did I do? But I love ARK because it's this really cool technology with a great team that get it, right? Like, they're going to fintech conferences, they're marketing themselves. And it continues to go up. So ARK may be an interesting one if you want to check that out. It's relatively cheap. But go take a look at ARK. That could be a good one. XLM just doing its thing up in the 700s again, finally. So that's been good. And then there's one more that I thought was interesting. If you want a longer shot, that you probably won't see any immediate arbitrage or immediate scalping on, is Expanse, which is EXP. The volume is really low. These guys have a really cool product, really great team, really great community manager, that I think that they have a shot, right? I think that they're an underdog right now. It's definitely a risk, but go check out EXP. I don't think that this price is going to go up to, do what Elastic did and go 50% a day. But if you are interested in a long-term hold, go check that out. I've been following them for a long time. They keep updating with better and better integrations, with better news, with stuff like that. Other than that, I think Stratus always doing good. I think it's just going to hover around here for a little bit. But the theme of the day, I'm telling you, is this volume. Watch the volume. Watch where the volume is shifting, who's getting it, who's losing it. The volume is going to dictate the price and those huge surges in price more than anything. And the reason why is because there are literally millions of people out there, maybe hundreds of thousands, right? When you look at the actual numbers behind who owns crypto, hundreds of thousands of people out there that are sitting on a lot of money right now or want to get into crypto, and they're just looking for a reason to invest that money somewhere. When that money starts flowing in one direction, it tends to attract more money. So the volume is where you want to look. Whenever you're doing any sort of research, obviously you want to go check out the product, go check out the site, the team, go read how people are talking about it. But look at the historic volume, right? Like where was the basic attention token? How much volume was that trading 2 weeks ago versus how much is it trading now? I can tell you that it's increased a fair amount, right? Is it trading more? Is its volume growth faster relative to other competitors? Things like that. That is an unbelievable way to predict that it's going to have a big spike soon, right? There's technical reasons behind that about like consolidation and things like that. But if nothing else, if you have one thing to do this weekend, if you want to get ahead, start studying the volume. And if you don't know how to do that, no worries. There's plenty of places you can do it. You can go into Bittrex. You can go on, you can go anywhere. But you can open it up. These, like how high the bars are at the bottom, these green and red bars, that shows you what the volume is. And then if you really want to get crazy, you can go up here to the top where you can click on studies and click volume, right? So you can click volume and it'll show you like kind of what historical volume looks like. You can do volume rate of change and it'll show you when there was big spikes and things like that. But go check this out. Volume is that is the name of the game. It's going to be for the next couple of weeks because there's going to be so much money coming into crypto now that this hard fork thing is done, and people are starting to get really excited and get all the derivatives markets and everything happening. So I think that's everything I want to talk about today. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Another great week in crypto. Hopefully it was very profitable for you. And I'll see you guys next Monday for another for another Coin Mastery TV episode. And I may publish a few videos this week that aren't breaking news or more just kind of strategy things just to keep the consistency going. But in the meantime, make sure you go subscribe to the channel, coinmastery.com/YouTube, and go to coinmastery.com, sign up for the newsletter there so that you can get on the email list and get notified. Thanks, everybody. It's been great this week. I will catch you later. Peace out.